Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome everybody to the March 5th, 2024 PM meeting for the Culpeper County Board of Supervisors. I'd like to go ahead and call this meeting to order. And our first order of business is we open up a citizens forum. If anyone would like to come forward and speak on any topic that's not on the agenda, please raise your hand and you'll be recognized and come up and speak. 1 second, I'll get you up. And just to be clear, we are missing a supervisor tonight, and he is called in electronically. Supervisor Durr, are you with us?
I am here. I can see you and hear you.
Yes, sir. All right, so we'll go ahead and start the citizens forum, and we'll start here on the front row. Yes, ma'am. And please state your name and magisterial district for the record. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, my name is Sheila Jackson, and I am with the, let me see, I'm kind of new at this, Cedar Mountain District in Culpeper, across from Carver. Is that correct? Oh, okay. So, I can begin? Okay. I live at 9485 James Madison Highway, across the street from the Carver Center. On 2/17/2024, there was a 3-vehicle collision in front of my home. This involved my grandchildren, 22 and 16. This emergency sent them to the hospital. A truck traveling 55 miles slammed into the woman stopped behind my granddaughters. This action totaled 3 vehicles. VDOT mission is to plan, deliver, operate, and maintain a safe transportation system that enables easy movement of people and goods, enhances the economy, and improves the quality of life. State of Virginia Department of Transportation, the core mission is to maintain and operate the system of state highways and to develop, oversee, and manage highway projects included in the 6-year improvement plan. U.S. Department of Transportation mission is to develop the world's leading transportation system, serving the American people and economy through the safe, efficient, sustainable, and equitable movement of people and goods. I live directly across from the Carver Center, which is fully impacted by this traffic flow, estimating approximately 1,000 visitors a week. Community outreach programs, student tours, 4-H clubs, minority veteran farmers, master gardeners, various workshops, the Cedar Mountain Voting District, and church services, just to name a few. Accident victims have been airlifted to various hospitals and some fatalities. A half mile both north and south of the Carver Center, which has poor visibility from flowing north and southbound traffic. As a 30-year taxpayer in good standing, I suggest the following signs. 1 mile before the Carver Center, reducing speed to 45, yellow flashing lights, and then 25 speed limit before you get to the Carver Center, both north and southbound. I'm asking this committee help in saving lives and making change happen on US 15. We cannot wait 6 years for change. The time is now. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. All right. Yes, sir. And again, please state your name and magisterial district.
Aaron Gresso, West Fairfax.
I have a mild request. I noticed you have a presentation up there.
Looks like it's put up there to accommodate a computer screen.
It's hard to read further back. Please provide larger font when you're putting up things like that. Squish it together or something, make them bigger. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who'd like to come up and speak at the Citizens Forum? Yes, sir.
My name is Shaq Wright. I live on 9364 James Madison Highway. That's right down the street from Sheila. I live in the second house down past Carver. And like she was speaking on, the speed limit there should be reduced. And there have been numerous accidents since I've been living there. And the problem that I have there is that I live at the foot. As soon as you pass Carver, it's a steep hill there. And I had to move my drive down so I can be able to get in. My drive is straight. As soon as you get to the top of the hill, that's where my drive should be. But I had to move it down a few yards or so I can get, so whenever they top the hill, they can see my vehicle turning down there. So I used to have to put my turn signal on before I get to Carver in order to get there, on the safe side. And I recommend that they should either cut that hill down or either put caution lights there or something. Because years ago, they had a sign on the other end, like it coming from Orange. They had a sign there, slow turning vehicle. So I went to VDOT and asked them if they could remove this sign and put it up by the school because it's better on that end because of the hill, And so I told them, I kept going to them, they never respond, Then they kept telling me, well, we can't really do anything about it. So I said, well, why don't I just take the sign myself and move it to that end? So every night they figured that I might take the sign, so they just took the sign. So, so there's no sign there at all anyway now. So I think what they need to do is just either put a sign down across from Carver School or either, cut that hill down to try to help us out. 'Cause like you said, there's been numerous accidents there and traffic. I mean, they speed limit must be at least 65 or 70 through there because it's constant traffic flow real fast through there. So I think they need to try to help us out somewhere in that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wright. Is there anyone else who care to speak tonight? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and close the citizens forum. First order of business is we have an agenda before us. Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda? Hearing none, we'll move on as presented. Item 4.0, tonight we have a special presentation. And with that, I will turn it over to our county administrator to introduce this item.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, members of the board. This morning, we adopted a resolution as part of our consent agenda, and tonight, I'm very happy to be able to read it into the record and have it presented to many of these fine folks who are in the audience tonight. So as I read this resolution, Lisa, if you wouldn't mind coming to the podium, and Chairman Bates will meet you there. This is a resolution commending Culpeper Human Services employees. Whereas Culpeper Human Services, also known as the Culpeper County Department of Social Services, proudly serves the most vulnerable citizens of Culpeper County to ensure they have access to the best services and benefits available to them. And whereas Culpeper Human Services operates as the local public child welfare agency, providing child protection, investigation, family-centered services and supports, foster care, adoption, and ensures all Culpeper children have adequate food, clothing, shelter, and medical and mental health care that they need. And whereas a Culpeper youth who needed residential services came to be placed into the custody of Culpeper Human Services, and there was a delay in obtaining an appropriate accommodation for this youth as a result of private residential service providers refusing admission for various reasons. And whereas the staff of Culpeper Human Services, because of the delay, provided accommodation to this youth in their offices for 2.5 months while trying to locate an appropriate placement. And whereas the staff of Culpeper Human Services heroically stepped in to assist with supervision and support for this youth for the duration of the office stay, providing 24/7, 12-hour shift coverage for each day from November 27th, 2023 to February 15th, 2024 through the holidays for our youth, while at the same time continuing to manage their existing caseloads and provide services during regular office hours. And whereas in doing so, these dedicated staff members are to be commended for a job well done and for being there for this child. These dedicated staff are Tori Walker, Kathy Gigliotti, Calvert Payne, Kirsten Plower, Angela Henriquez, Rebecca Gunaway, Leanne Schwake, Odalis Cruz, Samantha Ellswick, Kat Quintero, Sarah Daly, Preston Boxley, Andy Carey, Faith Smith, Dana Watson, Alexis Stepler, Lynette Babylonia Pujols, Bailey Thomas, Geraldine Southern, Myra Panato, Cindy Downey, Jennifer Handy, Brett Plower, and Sarah Berry. Now therefore be it resolved that the Culpeper County Board of Supervisors joins the Culpeper Human Services Board in thanking these dedicated and committed staff members for their service to the community and for their efforts in providing support, assistance, and encouragement to this youth. And be it further resolved that they are hereby commended for all the work that they do for the children and families of Culpeper County every day. Presented this 5th day of March, 2024.
Good evening, and thank you for having us here tonight. Our chairman, Brad Hales, couldn't be here tonight, but he sends his appreciation for putting this resolution together and having it here for the staff tonight. And if I could just have them stand up just so that we could recognize them in the audience, I would really appreciate that. And because of their work, the Board of Human Services did approve providing some what we're calling extra duty pay for the work that they did with this child. And so we just really appreciate the recognition. We're going to hang this in the boardroom, and just again, we really appreciate these folks. They're heroes in our community, and they stepped up at a time when we really needed them, and not just us, but this young man needed the support. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Lisa.
And I'm sorry, I'm Leanne. I just also wanted Lisa to be recognized because she was right there with us, covering shifts, staying up with us all night. She was there as well, washing clothes, taking them to church, doing, even making the meals. So we just, not every director does that, and we just are really glad to have this.
Well, a huge heartfelt thank you to each and every one of you guys for, I mean, that's not normally something you have to contend with in a normal day's work, and we greatly do really appreciate it. Thank you all. Next, we're moving on to our general county business. This will require a public hearing. So item 5.01, the board will hold a public hearing and will consider approval of a request from Dominion Power to grant a utility easement across county-owned property. The property is located on Route 229 in the Culpeper District and is identified as tax map parcel number 31-73B1. And again, with this, I'll turn it over to our county administrator to introduce this item.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Kim, if I could ask you to click that first attachment just for reference. Dominion Energy is requesting a 15-foot wide utility easement across county property. You can see that depicted on the map, the red line. On the northern end of what is 40 acres belonging to Culpeper County is requested for an underground electrical line which would reach the parcel there marked as 73B. That is a parcel that has been approved for development of residential homes, and those homes require electric power. They're actually served partly by Dominion and partly by Rappahannock Electric, but for Dominion to provide that power in their portion of the territory, the easement is requested. And any time the county grants any kind of easement or sale of property or interest in property, it does, as you noted, Mr. Chairman, require a public hearing.
Thank you, John. Are there any questions or comments for John? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and open up the public hearing. For anyone out who would like to come and speak on this matter, raise your hand and we'll call you to the podium. Yes, sir.
Hi, Aaron Gressel, West Fairfax. I noticed when this came up, it was like Rappahannock Electric or Dominion Power. So Dominion Power puts the lines in, does that mean the people who are in the housing development, they have to use Dominion Power? Or can they use Rappahannock, or how does that work?
Mr. Chairman, if you'd like me to answer the question, the property that's being developed is split in terms of the REC territory versus the Dominion Power territory. So Dominion is responsible for serving the portion of the property that is their territory, and REC the other portion. So there will be some of each when the subdivision is built out.
I do have a question. So when this was brought forward to us before, the option of if we don't approve this easement would lead to Rappahannock Electric providing power to the entire subdivision, and that's already under an understanding that that is what would happen if the easement is not granted.
Yes, Supervisor Guccino, it is my understanding from Mr. Howard and his research that should we deny this easement, then REC would be released to serve the entire development, including the small portion that's in Dominion territory.
And do we have like a ratio of how many houses would be Rappahannock and how many houses would be Dominion?
I haven't compared the line to the plat, but Kim, if you'd go back to the second attachment, it actually shows the split. So it looks like that white area is Dominion. It looks like they're a smaller portion of the property than REC is.
Because I'm just wondering what the pros and cons are of having a single development, which I think is 31 houses, split between two different service providers, and how, is it easier or harder for the developer to go through with having to deal with two different providers at two different schedules, and also the confusion for people moving in and out of this development? Hey, do I have Rappahannock Electric? Do I have Dominion? Why do I not have power and my neighbor does? And those kind of things. I'm just wondering if there are any pros and cons based on either option.
Yeah, it's certainly not something I've ever had to deal with, so I can't answer the question. It seems like it'd be easier if it was all one power company, but on the other hand, once you know which territory you're in, that's the power company you deal with, and I don't think it will be too much of a challenge.
And Mr. Chairman, just as a follow-up, because I'll admit I called you and asked that this be expedited if possible, or I called the county administrator. The request that I got was from an REC representative that we hold this public hearing. And that was also coming from the developer. Now, that doesn't mean REC doesn't want the business, and I'm not trying to imply that at all. But what I am implying is that there are defined territories. It is structured well. This would, I believe all parties have asked for it, and I haven't come up with a reason to say no. I guess that's where I'd be.
Thank you. With that, we will continue. Anybody else in the audience would like to come up and speak on this matter? Is there a representative from Dominion or? No? Seeing there's no one else who would like to speak on this, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing, and we'll open this back up for further discussion.
I guess the only good part about being split by two different providers is if you have a bad winter storm and one of them loses power and the other doesn't, you can go over to your neighbors and get warm or take a shower or something. So that might not be a bad idea to have the territory stay split, but it certainly will cause confusion, I'm sure.
And I don't know what our future plans are, but having it underground along the back, it's not impacting the county materially and does run electric underground along the back.
Supervisor Durr, do you have any questions?
I do not. I think it probably makes sense to approve this. That would be my vote at this point.
Is that going to be a motion?
That can be a motion.
Second.
Further discussion? We have a motion and a second on the floor. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? And the motion carries unanimously. Next, no planning commission business, and with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. We are adjourned. Thank you all for coming out.